I call this meeting of the Sweetwater County School District Number 1 Board of Trustees to order. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We are going to defer the education corner until next month. So Miss Murray, if you would do the roll.
Mrs. Summers?
Here.
Mrs. Schumacher?
Here.
Mrs. Thompson?
Here.
Mrs. Wood? Mr. Wright?
Here.
Mr. Sorensen?
Here.
Chair Jellicoe?
Present. We do have a quorum. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda, and we do have some addendum items. It's been moved by Mr. Wright. Is there a second? Second by Mrs. Schumacher. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed by the same sign. Motion passes. Communications and correspondence. If a member of the public initiates specific complaints or charges against an employee in order to protect the employee's rights to privacy and due process, the board will only hear those complaints or charges in closed session. The board encourages concerned individuals to file complaints using the appropriate district complaint procedure and appropriate forms, which can be obtained from the district's website. As per policies B, DDH, and KD, please limit your comments to the board to one time. If your comments have been previously submitted in writing, please refrain from addressing the board a second time. Written comments will be posted to the agenda in the written public comment section below. Written public comments must be received by 1:00 p.m. on the day of the board meeting and will be available for the public and trustees to view, but will not be read aloud at the board meeting. Policies B, DDH, and KD continue to state questions asked by the public shall, when possible, be answered immediately by the chairman or referred to staff members present for reply. Questions requiring investigation shall be referred to the board or administrative staff for consideration and later response. We do have a written comment, and that has been attached to the agenda online. Is there any in-person public comment?
Good evening, members of the board, Chairwoman Jellicoe, and Superintendent Libby. My name is Sherelle O'Driscoll, and I've come to you tonight as a parent and community member. I would like to start by saying thank you for updating the information on the Rumors vs. Reality page by adding the link where the public can access the archived information from last year. However, I have still not received any information on who is running the page and where the information comes from. Can I please get that information? Is this the way we will be informing the public for this current school year? Will it be updated after every meeting so all parties can be properly informed? I would like to state that this page informing the public and being up to date last year was a complete failure. I have also not received any information back on my questions from the June 10th board meeting, where I asked for information on Don't Ever Stop, where we have spent over $400,000 with this consulting group, and we have not been updated to any of their findings or what they would like to see implemented based on their studies. I would also like to point out that our district's website is outdated. For example, pictures of staff are not consistent from page to page, and when I go to the Contact Us page at the bottom, I have the options to contact trustees Batolo, Mickelson, Jackman, and Reedy, who are no longer affiliated with the board. This page needs scrutinized and redone, which will lead to total transparency. Now, for the real reason I am here. I would like to have our policy BFB, named Policy Adoption, reevaluated. I have done some research, and there are 48 school districts in the state of Wyoming. I have been able to print 42 of the 48 policies, and I have them here for you. And also one from the WSBA that follows state statute 21-3-110, section A, subsection I, that states, changes in needs, conditions, and purposes and objectives will require revisions, deletions, and additions to the policies of the present and future board. The board will welcome suggestions for ongoing policy development. I ask that our policy be reevaluated from a 1 read and pass to either a 2 read and pass or a 3 read and pass. I have found that 31 of the 42 districts I was able to obtain have a 2 read policy and 3 have a 3 read policy. There are 7 districts, including ours, that do a 1 read and pass, while one does have a 45-day post for policy community input to help with development. I feel with a 1 read, we cannot properly discuss the issues and make changes or modifications without having proper discussions that allow for the community and that allow for community involvement. I have also included a policy from Laramie County School District Number 1 that has a great breakdown of the Board of Trustees policy development, which also breaks down the Policy Advisory Committee and the Policy Advisory Committee operation for your viewing pleasure. While I do agree we are making progress, where is the progress on transparency when it comes to getting information back to the public when asked at meetings, public comment, or via email?
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I finish my sentence?
Thank you. I will say that we are in the midst of a policy review. Some of the policies that come up tonight are part of that policy review, so we are in the midst of it. Please understand, we have a new superintendent that we are working through with many things, and I think you're going to see some changes, including to the rumor versus reality page itself. So
Okay.
you will see some changes coming forth in September.
Can I give all of these 42 policies to you guys for reference so we don't have to reinvent the wheel, or you can look at them to see what the other policies do?
Sure, Dr. Libby?
I do. Yes, thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Further public comment? Further public comment? Further public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to the treasurer's report. Mrs. Summers, are you there?
I am.
Please proceed.
The general fund treasurer's report for the month of July 2024. The beginning balance totaled $15,989,585.09. Revenues received during the month totaled $802,416.69. Interbank transfers in totaled $4,655,847.56. Less the warrants written during the month, totaling $5,125,998.56. Interbank transfers out totaled $4,655,847.56. Voided checks totaled $500,169.55. And the ending cash balance was $12,166,172.77. The school lunch program treasurer's report for July of 2024. The beginning balance was $36,953.14. Interest accrued during the month was $195.85. Revenue totaled $1,152.03. The federal reimbursement totaled $19,609, and the transfer from Head Start Nutrition totaled $50,751.42. Reimbursement to the general fund was $0, and then an ending cash balance of $108,661.44. For the Head Start program treasurer's report, as of July 31st, 2024, the beginning balance was $99,194.18. Deposits totaled $142.71. Warrants cleared totaled $50,751.42, and the ending balance was $48,585.47. That concludes the treasurer's reports.
Is there a motion to approve the treasurer's report from the general fund, school lunch, and Head Start? It's been moved by Mr. Wright. Is there a second? Second by Mrs. Schumacher. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same sign. Motion passes. Let's proceed with the warrants, Mrs. Summers.
The warrants, checks number 169228 through 169790 totaled $4,279,321.03. Net payroll numbers 129556 through 129559 totaled the amount of $7,947.49. And numbers 804779 through 805323 totaled the amount of $1,220,713.15. Checks number 3993952, 3998463, 3999255. General fund transfers totaled the amount of $2,890,000. Checks number 1001 through 1012 for the insurance checking account totaled $2,271.14, and check number 1012 to the money market account totaled $350,000. That concludes the district warrants.
Is there a motion to approve the district warrants and release those payments? It's been moved by Mrs. Thompson. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Wright. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same sign. Motion passes. Moving on to the consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are matters about which the board has governing policies, implementation of which is delegated to the superintendent. They will be enacted in one motion in the order listed below. There will be no discussion of these items prior to the time the Board of Trustees votes on the motion unless members of the board request specific items be held and discussed separately and/or removed from this section. Approval of the consent agenda items as presented or amended. B, approval of the minutes from the July 17th regular meeting. C, curriculum. Post approval to amend the previous board action of June 24th, 2024 for the purchase of materials, supplies, and online resources from Reading Horizons. D, human resources. Approval of personnel recommendations. This includes an addendum. E, technology. Approval to renew IXL Learning. F, transportation. Approval of the bid for purchase of tires. G, also transportation. Approval of the fuel bids for the 2024-2025 school year. H, transportation. Approval for purchase of 3 new propane buses. Okay, no items have been held. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? It's been moved by Mr. Wright. Is there a second? Second by Mrs. Schumacher. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same sign. Motion passes. Item number 7, a new certified position. Recommendation to approve the certified beyond textbooks teacher support / virtual tutor and support position. Is Mrs. Garner here? Doesn't look like it. Dr. Libby, would you like to address that?
Sure. See if I can turn this on. Oh, it's underneath.
Mhm.
Let me get it right. There we go. Thank you, Board Chair. Yes, this position is a certified position paid for through the Beyond Textbooks. We actually have, is it grant funding for this? program, or is it just through its general funding? And it is a certified program that's going to help with the resources and supports that are requested across all the schools in the district to make sure that those resources and supports are make it through the print shop appropriately, and that the identified curriculum is being followed for the recommendations of the Beyond Textbook program.
And this is a one-year position, is that correct?
Currently, it's a one-year position.
Okay.
Yep.
Questions from the board? Anyone? Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the certified Beyond Textbooks teacher support / virtual tutor and support position? It's been moved by Mr. Wright. Is there a second? Second by Mrs. Thompson. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed by the same sign. Motion passes. Item number 8 is board information. We have 7 policies here. 8 policies, it looks like. Dr. Libby.
Thank you. So all the policies that are here before you are policies that, so first and foremost, I love policy. They're fun. I enjoy going through them. I don't know if everyone can say that, but I actually do. We have a significant number of board policies that are on the books that are actually now part of state legislation. So the purposes of the policies are null and void. And some of the language that's in some of these old policy is contradictory to what new state law is. So the policies that are here before you, I had an opportunity to work with our facilities folks, and we identified FB, facilities planning, FC, facilities capitalization program, FEA, FEB, FED, FE, FB, FF, and FG that are all outdated and are actually all part of state legislation and mandatory. So it's my recommendation that we remove these from our policies to help start cleaning those up.
And this is the first time we'll see them in board information, so the action will be taken next month. I will also say, as I look through these policies, they all seem to be centered around construction. So it's brought to a head with the construction of the new high school facing us.
Yes, ma'am. So much of the work that now is being followed by Mr. Oh boy, I'm going to say your name wrong. Celeroni. I'm sorry, Dan. But Mr. Celeroni is already dictated by state legislation, and we're just trying to clean up the book so that as we continue to go through the process, there's less confusion as to what we're supposed to be doing.
Thank you. Okay, item number 9 is good of the order. Anyone have any good of the order? Mrs. Schumacher?
Yes, Chair Jellicoe. Just from a parent standpoint, I know that I've heard some good feedback, and I also appreciate the fact that we've gotten information early this year when it came to school schedules for the secondary level. We had them last week, and although tentative until today when they received the final ones, it was nice to have that information ahead of time. And then the fact that we got our teachers for the elementary level this morning was also very nice, and something that I've heard a lot of people comment on. So I really like that. I am hopeful that we can even move that up a little bit more when it comes to next year and planning as far as that goes. But I know it's been a push of the board to try to get more of that information out earlier. And I know that it was received well from the community and from parents that were there. So very much appreciated.
Thank you. Other good of the order? Anyone? I have a couple of things. Please look at check your calendars. September 18th, which is a Wednesday, is the WSBA Fall Roundup. It will be in Pinedale. They'll have just a light dinner starting at 5:30, and then the meeting starts at 6. So if you're interested in that, Ms. Murray can register you for that. That's on the 18th of September. On November 20th to the 22nd, which is a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, is the annual WSBA conference. That is in Casper. It usually starts with the delegate assembly after lunch, but they do have some pre-sessions that are usually pretty good. And I think one of them is going to be the clinic that we all took. So Josh, you may be, if you're available, you may be interested in that one for the meeting the state requirement on fiscal responsibility. So that's the November 20th to 22nd. I just give it to you so that you can see the dates, see if they fit in your calendar. And I don't believe they're registering for that quite yet. They are registering for the fall roundup. Of a final note, Dan and I will be attending the facilities, Select Committee on Facilities meeting in Jackson Wednesday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. Tuesday, Wednesday, okay. So again, we just are not sure if things are going to show up with the new high school. So we're just trying to be present to be sure that if any questions arise, we're there to answer those. So any other good of the order? Okay, the new business, you have the vacancy notice as of today. You also have the July 2024 Head Start Governing Board and Policy Council monthly report. There being no further business, I entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Wright. Is there a second? Second by Mrs. Schumacher. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed by the same sign. Okay, we are adjourned.